Let's preview. Liverpool will be taking on Arsenal in the return fixture of a very good result that we got, although, again, possibly illustrates perfectly how our season has gone so far. Obviously, we won 4-3 at the Emirates, and on the opening day of the season, Sadio Mane announces himself as a very good acquisition on that day, but it was 4-3. We were 4-1 in front at one point, and we let another 2 goals in, and that game, while it gave us so much happiness, we cannot ignore. We ship goals so much. Now, the one thing, there's a couple of things. I'm not going to say the one thing, and there isn't really a structure to this, so I'm going to be spitballing a little bit and just hopefully whatever I say just kind of makes sense. Obviously, key observations for this match is apparently, now there's some news outlets saying that Ozil is going to be ill and he's not going to make it to this game. There's other ones that have been saying that he's actually going to be fit and ready and he's not sick. I don't know which way to take. You've got to maybe anticipate that it's going to be the best Arsenal that you're going to face, and that's probably sometimes the best way to go with these ones. Liverpool, I'm not entirely sure where we are in terms of injuries. Now, Lovren apparently could make his way back. Henderson is apparently going to be missing, which is going to be a big miss in the midfield, depending again on how we set up, and Sturridge will be missing as well, so there'll be no Sturridge. Obviously, at least there have been explanations of why players were missing from Klopp's press conference. I think it was this morning. We were talking on Friday morning. There were explanations there, and that's absolutely fine, but like people being sick and stuff like that. But even so, it's just, I want to see. You guys know what I want to see. I want to see centre-backs in a centre-back position, okay? That's what I want. That's why it's a certain position. You wouldn't put Divock Origi in a centre-back position, just the same as I wouldn't put a midfielder in a centre-back position, okay? And it sounds so simple, and I'm not the manager, obviously. I'm not Jurgen Klopp. I'm not the decision maker, but the fan base seems pretty united on the fact that we need a centre-back in the centre-back position. One of the most important positions, especially when you're going to come up against a team like Arsenal, so very attacking, orientated, and when they click, if they click, they can be one of the most potent sides in all of Europe. They can be. I'm not saying they will be, but they can be. They have the capability to do that, and I fear that. Because Arsenal haven't obviously had very good results lately. They won against Sutton in the Cup. They had that destructive loss against Bayern Munich. But Bayern Munich are just an unbelievable powerhouse of power, of goals, of pace, of technicality, of physicality. They are an unbelievable team who, again, can beat the best of the best on their best days. Never mind on an average day. So, I'm not looking forward to the fact that this be Arsenal's jumping off point. If they win against Liverpool, this could kickstart Arsenal's season a little bit more. For me, I already think the title's gone. I already think the title is Chelsea's. It's pretty much theirs to lose. Something catastrophic has to happen in the last set of games for Chelsea to lose that. It really, really does. And every single time I see Chelsea play, they just, whether they're playing really, really good attacking football or if they're playing, they're scraping along a little bit. Chelsea scraping along is like a 2-0 victory. Chelsea on fire can do anything like they did against Everton, where I think it might have been 5-0, I'm not entirely sure. They can do anything. So Chelsea, I think, are long gone champions, and it's pretty much theirs to lose. Something bad has to happen for them to lose it. Arsenal could do themselves better. They could get up to maybe, see themselves get into the second position like they did last year, which was more, last year that was more down to Tottenham. Yes, fair enough. That's absolutely fair enough. But still, it worries me that could happen. The flip side is that the exact same thing could happen for us. We're sitting in 5th. We're right behind Arsenal at this moment, I think. And it could be a really big jumping off point for us. The only way it can be a big jumping off point for Liverpool, though, is if they actually use it as a springboard for the rest of the season. Not just have, like the opening game of the season against Arsenal, we come out, we blitz them with goals. Second half, that 20 minutes in the second half, after Coutinho had scored that free kick, which was a wonderful free kick, by the way. I'll never forget that free kick. It was awesome. And it kick-started the second half in big style. And everybody we were so fluid. We were so and such an attacking force that day in that 20 minutes. Then the next game, Burnley, we lost 2-0. We had 80 or 81% possession, and we lost 2-0. That's what can happen. We need to actually make sure that we can build consistency. Without consistency, we don't deserve anything. Without consistency, we can't turn around and say we deserve Champions League football, which is obviously, it should be our aim. Champions League football is exactly what we should be aiming for. And when Jurgen Klopp turns around and says if we get Europa League qualification or something like that, he can't use that as a barometer for success. Now, other people calling for his head because of that, if that does happen, and we go into the Europa League instead of the Champions League, and people calling for his head already, just stop it, because we need stability in the club completely. And if we end up finishing 5th, it's not going to be the improvement that we want. It's probably going to be the improvement that we deserve, though. If we end up finishing 5th or something like that, it's still an improvement positionally on where we were last year. That is improvement. It's not the improvement that we want, and it's not the improvement that we expected. And maybe our expectations of this season have become a little bit clouded because of how good we were during the opening weeks and months of the season. We were playing very good football. We were being competitive with everybody up at the top. When we got that victory, we had players playing out their skin, playing unbelievably well, and scoring really good goals. Henderson, I'll never forget that one either. Henderson's unbelievable shot against, not Petr Cech, that would have been years ago, against Courtois, against Chelsea when we won 2-1. Unbelievable. We had some really, really good results. Had some really bad results as well. But those were very much few and further between than the good results that we got. And we were playing some really good football. And then we hit January. January was... I can't really say it without swearing, to be honest with you. It was just a capitulation of sorts that I didn't think was going to happen. I can say it without swearing, clearly. It was just a capitulation that I didn't see happening. I don't know if many people saw happening. Losing Mane to the African Cup of Nations was a big loss, but it can't just be down to the one man. It's got to be the whole team collective. What we also have to look at, though, look at that January. And I'm going to try and spin a positive on this one. Because of how well we did earlier on in the season, we still managed to hang around that top 4, top 5. That's unbelievable. We haven't dropped any lower than that since, I think, Man United won a game and then we won against Tottenham. And we were back in 5th the very same day. So we haven't really dropped out of those positions. We could have dropped so far. Things could be so much worse. And they're not at the moment. And this is going to be a really key match for me. I'm looking forward to seeing it, and I want us to come out like we did against Spurs, because I'm nervous about Arsenal. I really am, because Arsenal are in a similar position. They're going to be looking for some way. How can they improve their season? Champions League kind of looks already gone. It's going to be so hard to come back against Bayern Munich. They are a team that could possibly do it on their day. Bayern Munich are going to score goals. You can't stop them scoring goals. That's just the way it is. So no matter how many Arsenal score, they're just going to score goals. So the Champions League looks like it's over. Cup run, maybe. Maybe they could pick up another cup this year. They could pick up, is it the FA Cup? They could pick that up this year again. Are the fans going to be happy with that? I'm not entirely sure. If you're an Arsenal fan, let me know if you would be happy with that and getting into the top 4. I'm not entirely sure. It's quite a... If you have a look on Twitter and stuff like that, it's quite a divided fan base between obviously the Wenger outs and Wenger in and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into that because it's not my club. It's not my place to say. Then we've got Liverpool, who need, for proper progression, we need to get into the Champions League places. Not only because it's Champions League, even if we get to place number 4 and win the group stage, because we need it for the progression of the squad. The squad is starting to show how thin it actually is. There aren't enough players in all of the positions to cover ourselves. There really isn't. You look at centre-back. Sakho, I'm still annoyed, and I've been annoyed since the start of frigging time. Since the start of this season that Sakho hasn't been getting a look in. Because I know that he acted up on this away tour, pre-season and stuff like that, and he acted up. You know what, if he came back and he apologised for that, maybe, I don't know if he did apologise, I can't exactly remember. Even so, let him do his time with the younger teams and stuff like that, which he was doing, and then we sent him out on loan, and he does well there. That's what's really annoying. If he was sent out on loan and performed really poorly, all right, you can kind of see why he was sent out on loan then. But now he's been sent out on loan. His debut, it looked class. It's disappointing. It really is. Especially, I really wanted that Sacco and Matip partnership. And then if we did decide, like people are saying, that, well, we could go to 3-4-3, you could have three at the back, and you could have Lovren, Sacco and Matip. That would be ace. You got Clavan as a backup, Gomez as a young one coming through as either a centre-back or left-back. It's annoying. We need it for the progression of the squad, because then you look into the midfield. You take Henderson out. Okay, you could put Milner in there, but we've been playing him at left-back, so playing him at left-back now means that we don't have him to go into the midfield to replace Henderson. So who do we put there? Emre Can. Emre Can's not good enough to replace Henderson. He might be good enough alongside him, sometimes. Wijnaldum's okay. I've got no issues with Wijnaldum, but he needs people around him to be working hard as well. Take any of those guys out, we don't have... Yes, we've got some youth talent, but we don't have the actual talent, the proven players in those positions, and backup players as well. We don't have enough. Same with Mane. You saw what happened. Mane left the team for over a month to go for the African Cup of Nations. We had nothing there. And I've spoken about Lazar Markovic, and I know people don't like Lazar Markovic. But to be fair, he's not been doing too badly. He's not been doing great at Hull. He's not been doing too badly, though. But I've always said he could be an option. And that's all you ever need. You sometimes just need an option. A young lad like that just wants an opportunity. We could have given him it. I said I thought he looked quite good when Rodgers was in charge, and when he got an occasional shot here or there, and he did look quite good. I just wanted him to get a shot. That would have been quite good. Strikers, we're not good enough there either. Firmino, I know he came as like either attacking midfielder or just sitting behind the striker. Playing him as a false nine did work for a little while. But when that doesn't work, who do we turn to? We've got Origi or Sturridge. Sturridge doesn't perform as a starter, in my opinion. Origi sometimes does, sometimes doesn't. They're too inconsistent. And then you got Coutinho out wide. You take Coutinho out of the team, you could possibly put Firmino there. Or you could put Lallana there. You take those guys out of the team, though, who can you replace them with? I then look at a team like Chelsea, who've got they've got Willian, they've got Pedro, they've got Hazard, they've got options. Not just options, though. They've got class options. Willian, who's done really well for Chelsea. Hazard's done really well for Chelsea in the past. He's done bad for them as well, but he's done well at the same time. Then you've got Pedro, who was very good at Barcelona. Had a very poor season when he first came over to Chelsea, but now he's absolutely smashing it in different positions. Their striking options are very, very good as well. If Diego Costa goes out, all they have to do is just go, Batshuayi, I know you haven't played all season, but come on, get a game. It's not necessarily the best option, but it's better than our options at the moment. They've got options all over the pitch, and that's what we don't have. Freaking hell, if their goalkeeper goes out, never mind Courtois, world-class goalkeeper, then you've got Begovic, I think. I think they've still got Begovic. Anyway, I'm not entirely sure, but they've got Begovic, a good quality goalkeeper as well, to come in. Our goalkeeping situation is so uncertain, it's unreal. And I know that this has gone away from the Arsenal preview as such as well, but it's just, this is why I'm trying to express why we need Champions League football so much. So that we can actually get the money, the funds, and the reasons to actually improve our squad. Get the owners to actually back Klopp, which is the main thing here. People get on Klopp's back. He's probably had to deal with the fact that he's not going to have the amount of funds, or FSG aren't releasing the amount of funds that you need to actually be competitive in the Europa League or the Champions League. Because you're going to be playing every 3 days or something like that. Every 3 or 4 days. You're going to need one hell of a strong squad. And I'm talking like we need 11 players, quality, to cover every single position on the pitch. As well as obviously having the youth players there as well. But you need to almost have like a double act. So you need to have obviously a first 11 and almost a second 11 that could pretty much replace any of the first 11 at any time because of injuries and obviously game times and stuff like that. That's what you would need. Would FSG do that? I don't know. There's a lot of discussion from online people saying that maybe FSG are the problem, and I would personally say that it is down to them to actually release the funds to back Klopp in transfer markets and stuff like that. Yes, he spent 36 million on Sadio Mane, but not many of our other, apart from Wijnaldum as well, not many of our other transfers were that big. So he's done, in my opinion, he's working with the best that he's got, and that's why I still back Klopp fully, 100%. I think that we can get a positive result out of this one against Arsenal, but we have to work so hard. We have to come out firing out of the gates like we did against Tottenham. We have to blitz them almost, but keep our defensive composure as well. I don't want to see Matip having to run into midfield to play passes, because if you lose it against a team like Tottenham, who could have, even with Ozil out, they could still have Sanchez, they could still have Oxlade-Chamberlain, Walcott. I'm not entirely sure on their injury situation, but they could have those players available on the pitch. Now, if Ozil's not playing, Oxlade-Chamberlain, I imagine, would go in to that middle part of the midfield because he's got pace, but he's actually quite physical as well. And he plays his best games in that position. And then on the outside, you could have Walcott or Iwobi, whoever, Sanchez as well, or depends if they're going to put him through the middle. You never know. Are they going to give Lucas Perez a shot? I don't know, but they've got a lot of options. They've got so many more options than we have. They've still got Giroud to call on as an option as well, in the attacking ones as well. I'm not entirely sure. We have to be defensively disciplined enough not to start going up them, roaming up the pitch and try and catch them offside, because all it takes is for Sanchez to get something over the top and just close in on our goal. And our goalkeepers aren't necessarily, they can have blinding games, but they can also, more often than not, have pretty damn awful games. I'm not going to try and predict the starting lineup because I think there should be some changes, but I don't know what they'll be. The best that I think that we can hope for is a draw. Okay, I think it could be a 2-2 draw, a score draw, and I think that could be a good result. To win it, we're going to have to come out like we did against Tottenham, but more so. Tottenham were in a little bit of a bad patch anyway. We're going to have to do so much and make sure that we respect Arsenal as well, but not too much. Don't give them so much respect that you go in there fearing them, but know the dangers that they possess and what they could do to you, but what we can do to them as well. Let's go in there and let's attack them. Let's go and do what we did on the opening day of the season, but let's keep it disciplined at the back. I'm predicting a 2-2 draw. I'm hoping for a win. I really am. I'm hoping for a win. We cannot lose. We cannot lose, because then we lose ground so much. The top four is so tight. We cannot lose ground. There is no opportunity for slipping up. Pardon the pun. Obviously, I know people take the mick out of Liverpool fans using the term slip up, but we really can't. We cannot afford for it to happen. A draw is the best. Is the most sobering thought that I could think of right now, and the most non-biased way I could look at it would be a draw. That's the best that we could get. I'm obviously hoping for a win now. If we do win, I think it could be 3-1. But I'm going for a 2-2 draw, and I'm fingers crossed for the win. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I know it's been a long one, but thanks for sticking with us if you have it. And get your comments in the comments box below as well. If you've enjoyed this video, please drop a like on this video, share it around, subscribe if you're new around here as well. Thank you ever so much for watching. As always, enjoy the match, and I'll catch you later.